So first and foremost, thank you so much once again for having me. My name's Rajahnah Matra. I'm going to be speaking on alternative credentials and skills that matter uh, in today's job market. In essence, I think that it's very important that we have a conversation about alternative skills or alternative ways that we can learn so that we can continue to expand in the career in our jobs going forward. So before I get into my session, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about my story and a bit about my experience. So over 10 years ago, I entered the workplace with no degree, no certifications, and not much of a resume. In fact, I didn't really know what a resume was. I was young, I was single, navigating a life and a world in which I had never been in before. Most of my learning came through experience, that is, lived in experience, working from managing calendars for CEOs, putting out fires and operations, and playing every role in the book from front desk to strategic support. I came in as a completely blank slate and I kept learning on the job. And that's a huge reason why this conversation matters so much and so deeply to me, because the truth is, degrees open doors, but skills keep them open. And that's the future we're here to talk about today. Okay, so there are limits of traditional credentials. Um, I want to talk about a real lived in experience and story that I have from a colleague. So I know a small business owner who runs a recreational RV rental company, no college degree, barely finished high school, no website, and yet they're running their family business successfully for over the past 10 years. It provides for their entire household. That's a strong reminder. A degree matters, but they're not the only path to success, right? So talent is bigger than a diploma. I want us to look at also the statistics. Research shows an IBM dropped degree requirements for 50% of US jobs. And another analysis shows that nearly 1 in 5 job postings no longer list a degree requirement on LinkedIn. What does that tell us? Traditional degrees can't always keep up with pace of change. They don't measure adaptability or resilience. Two skills every employer needs, right? We need to be adaptable. We need to be able to grow in this marketplace, especially with the advancement of technology, the advancement of ourselves. So when you're limiting yourself to just one degree path or just taking on the basics of going for the degree alone, you're pretty much stopping yourself from being able to expand beyond your own potential. So something I really want you to take away from today is that a diploma can show you what you know, but it does not show how you lead when the when things go to show, when it's time to hit the road. It doesn't show your experience. It doesn't show how you adapt in a situation. All right, so the next slide talks about the rights of skills based on hiring. In operations, with my experience in strategic operations and management, I've watched hiring decisions happen real time, which means I see folks who either get declined or get advanced. And a lot of those skill sets, or a lot of people who do get advanced, it's not so much just based on their credentials. Folks might come in with master's degrees or even, bachelor's, and some folks just come in with real lived-in experience. But that doesn't always guarantee that they'll get the position, right? More often than not, the choice was not about the best degree. It was about who had the best skills and the best assets so that they could deliver what we were looking for today, right? So I've seen candidates chosen before because they walked in already knowing real skill sets with Salesforce, Excel, HubSpot. That's just to name a few skill sets, right? And I don't want to just talk about the hard skill sets, which is what a degree will give us, right? A college degree will definitely guarantee and certify that we have our backing. But there's also those top soft skills, right? There's leadership, responsibility, self-motivation, all of the things that make it so that you're a well-rounded candidate. And if you're not well-rounded in all ways, and or if you're just dependent on one or the other, which is the hard skill versus the soft skill, you might not be guaranteed to have a strong standing in getting that position, right? So data shows that skill-based hires stay 9% longer than degree-based hires, and that's per the Boston Consulting Group, right? And another data shows that hiring boosts representation for up to 19% plus Black candidates and 24% women, and that's per Harvard Business School. So as an insight from an operations perspective, this makes sense, right? Skills-based hiring lowers turnover, improves diversity, and ensures people can execute strategy immediately, right? We're not looking for people who just have just the bare minimum at this point of just the degree. And we're also not looking for somebody who comes in not willing to learn. We're looking for people who are adaptable, willing to change, wanting to change, and wanting to grow within the role. So something that employers often ask when I've worked with CEOs or owners is they don't just ask, where did you study? What degree did you get? That's kind of extra information a lot of the times. They'll ask, can you get to work? What can you do? What have you shown to have done in the past to really be able to elevate our company in the way that we need you to? All right. So I really want to talk about the benefit of alternative credentials, right? Certifications can build so much confidence and credibility. Yeah, when I first discovered certifications, it was like opening a whole new world for me. I began by first earning a certificate as a CAPM, so in project management, and then I went for my Salesforce certification. So doing this didn't just add lines to my resume, it really boosted my confidence in the job field and market. And in terms of operations, it definitely made me feel a lot more as if I had the experience needed to be able to lead and impact in the way that I felt would make me a strong candidate and leader. Right. And the thing is, certifications didn't just open the door for me. I've seen it open the door for other colleagues in the professional field. And so some data shows that in the massive open online course, learners who share certifications see a 6% increase in job matches, right? And workers with proven AI skills earn about 23% more than those with only degrees. Once again, that's per the Boston Consulting Group. So with that in mind, I want us to be aware that credentials don't replace experience, right? They amplify it. They accelerate growth, increase competitiveness, and help align people with the roles they want. They pretty much give you that confidence, once again, to put you in the position so that you're able to get to where you need to get to as quickly as possible. So you're able to upscale yourself. Yeah. So something I want you to take away from today in this conversation with me is think of certifications like going to the gym, right? You already have a body that's capable, but training makes it sharper, stronger, and ready for more. Okay. So I want us to talk about, once again, the importance of verifiable data and certifications across different industries. Now, I might come from an operations strategic management perspective, but I want to emphasize that there are so many different kinds of certifications that you can get into no matter what industry you're interested in. For technology, a lot of folks are interested in Security Plus or AI fundamentals. And finance, it can be QuickBooks, FMVA, things of that sort that really help to advance you in the way that you need to go to where be able to work within a company or just in general, right? If you're able to advance yourself with these credentials and really add on different certifications wherever your specific industry is, you'll really be thought of as a leader. You'll be looked at as someone who is a strong asset, not only to yourself, but also to the company, right? So with those certifications, what can you do now? You can show that you have proof to your skill set. You're backed up, right? So I want to talk about a story that recently happened for me directly. So recently, a recruiter reached out to me about a project management role. And the first question wasn't about my degree. It wasn't even about my certifications. They actually asked, do you have a dashboard or portfolio that shows your lived experience? That moment, obviously, it really stuck with me. And it's why I wanted to talk about it today. Because in a stack of resumes, everyone can look similar. But when you can show proof, a dashboard, a certification, a digital badge, you really stand out competitively in the job market. And in terms of ongoing learning, it is so important as we are that we do continue to get those certifications to build our credentials up. Yeah. So data shows once again that 76% of employers expect to use digital credentials in hiring by 2025. And that's per the World Economic Forum. And candidates with verified credentials are 27% more likely to be hired. And more than that, employee turnover costs up to 2 times annual salary. Verifiable skills reduce hiring risk. Yeah. So when a company feels that you're well equipped with the skill set, they're not going to as quickly look at your what you're presenting to them and assess that you don't have what you need. They're actually going to feel more confident with you. They're going to feel more comfortable. They're going to think, I can trust this person. And when it comes to learning and advancing and really using those skill sets in the real world, it's so important that you have your verifiable skills to show your backing and your experience, so that when you're going forward, you have that confidence to get wherever you need to get going forward, right? So verification, once again, it builds trust for employers, it lowers risks, and it speeds up decision making. That was a huge part of the hiring process when we do look at strategic management. For candidates, it's confidence. You don't just walk in saying you know something, you can actually prove it. And that's really significant and really impactful. And it leaves a lasting impression when you do have those skill sets. So, in essence, proof builds trust, and trust creates opportunity. Yeah. And we're all about growth and opportunity here. All right, so let's talk about the future of alternative credentials. I get so excited about this topic. I'm so sorry. I love that technology is advancing the way that it is. And you want to know why? That means that it's giving us the chance to grow and adapt in ways that we, I think, as a people and as a society, have not had the opportunity to, right? So the amazing fact is that I know that a lot of people get scared with the advancement of AI and technology, but let's take a step back. Let's look at the actual careers and opportunities that it's creating, right? So even though there's the projected percentage that 85 million jobs will be lost with the advancement of AI, there's also the opportunity for 97 million to be created by 2020, 2030. And that's once again per the World Economic Forum. Yeah. So, a story that I have to back this up with the advancement of AI and the importance of continuing to learn and advance yourself in this way is I know leaders at companies like DuPont who invest heavily in LinkedIn learning and boot camps for their employees. Why do we think that is? Yeah, that's because they know that future competitiveness depends on continuous reskilling. They are continuously working to improve their employees so that their employees will be strong competitors and strong assets for their team. So even if you don't need new skills today, you'll need them tomorrow, right? So if you continue to advance yourself the way that you need to, maybe integrating some AI or technology, you'll really be showing that you're a strong candidate, and you'll also really strengthen your own personal learning journey. So in essence, the future of work is a skills marketplace. Yeah, powered by AI, digital credentials, and lifelong learning. Employers will match people to roles based on skills, not resumes anymore. Yeah, so I know that we look at the future and we're uncertain, but I want us to take away that the future doesn't belong to the person with the fanciest resume, right? It belongs to the lifelong learner. And just as I close up for today, this is a quote from myself. Think of yourself as an asset. Every skill, every credential, every lived experience makes that asset more valuable, right? So, as I'm going to say my ending, here's my challenge to you. Okay. Think of yourself as an asset. Your degree, your certifications, your experiences, they all refine that asset, but the foundation is you. Your ability to adapt, to listen, to lead under pressure, to keep learning, that's something that makes you valuable in any room, in any role, in any future. The future belongs to lifelong learners like ourselves, and every skill you build, every credential you earn, every real experience you gain makes you not just employable, but unstoppable. Okay. So I really want to give a big thank you to ADollarClass for hosting this important summit. Once again, I said it speaks directly to me and my experience. And I have a lot of love and appreciation for the advancement of learning in any platform. And I want to thank you all for listening and engaging. And I look forward to any questions and to learning from this conversation as well.